pastor of Faith Chapel International, Reverend Samuel Nyarko, has advised Ghanaians to sacrifice towards national development as Christ sacrificed his life on the cross to save mankind. According to the head pastor of Faith Chapel International, in a statement said that leadership is a place to sacrifice for the people like the Lord Jesus Christ, Kwame Nkrumah, and Nelson Mandela, among others.
Leadership is an influential thing. Leadership is not what we say, but what we do. Leadership is more doing than what we say. It's not a title, it's a responsibility. If you ask me about leadership, leadership is about responsibility, not just a title. Many people take leadership as a title, but leadership is not being a boss, but being involved into something that you lead people into a destination. So that is what we call leadership. So, but what? Many people take leadership as a title, but leadership is not being a boss, but being involved into something that you lead people into a destination. So that is what we call leadership. And you bring the political people and the religious people, that's whereby we get the thing become very tough, because the world has a way of seeing a leader. The moment you mention leader, normally they try to explain it, but the word becomes bossy. The word see leadership as a boss, but in Christianity we see leadership as being a servant. So I believe that it is time that the church has to teach more about leadership qualities, because many of these leaders belong to church. So if the church can teach them to know the real meaning of leadership, being a child of God means you are serving. You are not there to take, you are serving. It's a sacrificing yourself. But we see in the world perspective that leadership has become like bossy, ruling, taking from the people rather than giving to the people. For instance, you see they are working, and then they are throwing this kind of their needs that they need a kind of increment, and they are asking of maybe 20. Later on they say 15, and then they say they will not give them, they will reduce it. These same people that we call them leaders reduce it, but when it came to their own, they increased it to 70%. That's what raised the alarm. So it means that both the positive, or let me say the ruling party and the opposition party, they are all the same. Why didn't they reject the 70% as an increment, but they accepted it? Yet those who are working on the ground, who we know them that they are suffering. Yet even they are 10% or they are 20%, they negotiate with them. But when it came to their own 70%, they approve it. I believe this has been a problem in Africa. It has been a problem in Africa for many years, decades or maybe that. But I believe the church has a responsibility of going down to teach more. Because as I said earlier on, all these people belong to churches. We think we have to teach them that leadership is selfless thing. Leadership is dying for the people. Leadership is sacrificing yourself for the people. I think we can take a leadership example from Jesus Christ. A leadership example for the people who take over from Jesus Christ, the poor and the cool. And we can even take from people like maybe some of our leaders, Kwame Nkrumah for the rest, Nelson Mandela. And they have some African leaders who were very good in example. We can take example from them. But looking at what we are having now, it's like leaders don't think about people again. Look at what we are having now. It's like they don't think about people again. It's like when everybody enter into politics, because they all know that it's an avenue to become rich overnight. So you see some of them, they will just talk. The moment they get in and they are rich, you don't hear them again. You could see that now politics has become like a field. Let's go in and just be rich. Like that kind of enthusiasm from the old, like the big six, the stories and the history that we have come to read, dying for the nation. It's not there anymore. Now it's like politics has become like an avenue to exploit money, to make rich. That's what I can see now. Part of this program is to raise leaders in the church. That's the first thing. Leaders who serve selflessly. Leaders who serve not because they want God to bless them, but because God is demanding them to serve. Then we are also, we want them to come and learn, also to reflect into the the nation as a whole. Because when we learn in a church, we need to go and exhibit out there. I believe that every member of the church belong to a particular company. And when they go there and they exhibit that kind of lifestyle, people also will learn. It won't be easy, but if you can start from somewhere, gradually it will take over. Building the nation begins with the church, because when you look down properly, many of the national blocks that they used to regulate nation, many of them come from the Bible. You see, and then when you look at the godly principle of governing people, if you can bring it into our governance, I believe the nation will be nice. I believe we all will not be suffering. I believe, because now you see, the thing is that even we the church, we have a problem in the leadership, that even some of the pastors are not even leading well. Some of our leaders are not leading well. That's the reason why I believe it is time for us to teach more about leadership, more about how we behave out there, because everyone is leading in his own small area. If you can be punctual, if you can be loyal, if you can be responsible, I believe it will reflect. And as we are going on gradually, God will come in and everything will be okay. I mean, one of the problems that we are having as a nation, as a church, is that normally when it's about conferences, about leadership, it's about talking, come to study, people normally don't engage, because normally when they come to church, they normally want this kind of prophetic here and there. But we are hoping for God for a big turnout. You see, the Bible let us know that it is a lack of knowledge that people perish, not in the midst, not in the multitude, or not the lack of prophets. Prophet can be there, deliverance minister can be there, yet we perish. You see, the problem with African as a whole is knowledge. To get knowledge has become problem in Africa. So now that's the reason why I believe the church is sick, not because we don't have pastors. We have pastors, we have prophets, but we are sick because the knowledge in the church is very low. And I think that it is high time we have to go back and feed the church with more knowledge. But there are certain things that we are even doing that we don't even know. Giftings does not make you a leader. You can have a gift, but you may not be a leader. Being a leader, you need to be taught. You need to learn something. You need to be trained so that you can also train people. So I believe the church has more gifted people, but we lose leaders. We lack leaders. We don't have leaders. That's what I say to all of them is that, you see, a life that is not lived because of people is worthless. Any life that you live that you are not living because of people is worthless. And number two, everything that they are accumulating, they should ask themselves, who is going to inherit it? If you have an estate, and the estate you have a lot of estate cash here and there, it does not benefit anybody, it's worthless.